Welcome to Coffee Talk with Pat and Pam. This is a meeting that we have on a fairly regular basis with some of our trusted vendors so that we can introduce them to you to help you navigate the waters of the real estate market in Northern Virginia, whether you're buying or selling.
So today we have Ken Humphreys from BPG Inspections with us. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me out, and thank
Yeah.
you for trusting me with the information we're about to provide.
Yeah.
So my name is Ken Humphreys. I'm the area manager for BPG Inspections. We're a nationwide multi-inspection firm. We're a full-service inspection company, so we provide home inspections, radon, termite, and other services. I personally have been in construction my whole life, one way or another. I've been a home inspector in the state of Virginia for the last 14 years. And I have over 9,000 inspections on residential alone. Basically, we're here to help people understand what they are getting into when they buy a home.
It's a lot of
Very
inspections.
good. It's a lot of inspections.
That's a lot.
That means you're really good.
I kind of want to stop counting at this point because it's kind of dating me.
So the big question, why do we even need home inspections?
That's a really good question. It would be the same as, why do you need a real estate agent? Why do you need to stage a house when you're selling one? Because you're not the expert in said field. Your real estate agent is your logistics queen who's going to bring everybody together for you from years of experience of having bad experiences and finding the right vendors to use to maximize your investment, if that's a purchase or a sale. Well, with the home inspection, we're your GP. We're the doctor you go to when you're not feeling well. And from there, we can guide you to, if you need a specialist in a certain area to further evaluate something, so you can get a better picture of your purchase. So for most people, the purchase of a home or the sale of a home is one of the biggest financial transactions they do in their career.
Yes, yes.
Why would you want to do that blind? It doesn't make sense to me. I understand the market's crazy and listing agents pushing people to do walk and talks or not do inspections. The market is high for prices right now, so it's a bigger purchase than ever.
Right,
So
true.
to me,
Yeah.
you want that
Biggest
second
investment they'll
opinion.
ever
You
make.
want someone to come and look at everything and help you understand exactly what you're getting.
So, talked about the competitive market. It's very competitive. What are the options people would have in a market like this? What are you doing for people to help them navigate the waters of this market?
So traditionally, you'd have your normal home inspection, you have your contingency, we come in, we look at everything for you, you get a report, and you have time to decide on stuff. That's not so common at the
True,
moment.
yeah.
So there's a lot of companies out there doing what we call walk and talks. So for 30 to 60 minutes, they walk with you through a house and they go, that's this, that's this, that's this. My problem with that, we decided very early on when the pandemic started, we weren't going to do that because, one, I talk funny, I talk fast, and I get through a house as quick as I can to cover as much as I can in that time. For you
Right.
to remember every detail I'm telling you, it's going to be kind of hard. If you do a normal inspection, if you remember a third of what I tell you, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So
true.
It's a
we
lot.
do a pre-offer evaluation. So it's like a walk and talk. It is a broken down inspection. We are looking at about 70% to 75% of the value of the home. So the roof, the attic, the heating and air, the plumbing. The stuff we will miss if we don't have time to do or skip is the appliances.
Right.
The windows. We're not going to test every outlet or every light switch. The smaller stuff that isn't going to cost you too much if you need to replace or
Right,
repair it.
right.
But we still provide you with a written report.
That's
Oh,
good.
that's very good.
So you don't have to remember any of it. And we try our best to get our reports out same day, every day. But we guarantee within 24 hours of the end of the inspection, we will have the report to you. So you're not waiting 2 or 3 days to get
Right.
a report whenever offers are being
They're
accepted on your
Exactly.
house.
Right, all the
So-
deadlines are in place.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
it's crazy at the moment, and we do see repeat customers with this, where they don't get the first house because it escalated too fast, or they just got outbid because
Right.
it just went for more. the thing is, I try to educate the customers we go through, so if the first one doesn't work, when they're looking at the next house,
They're already
they have a better
seeing-
understanding on what to look for as
Definitely.
they're going through it. Or
Right.
they can better prepare themselves for questions for me.
Correct.
And I say this in every inspection I do, if it's normal, if it's pre-listing, pre-offer evaluation. If you ever have a question, you can reach out to me. My cell phone number, unfortunately, is on my business cards. And if my wife hasn't taken my phone off me or I'm not sleeping, I will answer the phone.
That's great,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you know, not all sellers will allow that pre-offer evaluation either, so that's kind of tough as well.
So what we do for that as well, like, not just because I'm in the industry and that's where I make my money, but I still think it's good to have an inspection. So if this is an inspection post-closing, it's better to know about the
And
problems.
know.
Like, every
Yes,
house
definitely.
has problems.
Exactly,
And
Yeah.
if it's no different than your body, no different than your car.
right,
The sooner you know about those problems, the better you can plan for them.
sure.
Right.
Or do stuff to help them prevent from getting worse.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great.
So that's great, so somebody could, if they can't do it pre in this market, they can actually hire you to come in after the fact, or maybe even on a walkthrough before closing, or something like that, so then they know what they're buying. They're gonna buy it regardless, but this way they can come up with a plan for remedies, or, budgeting for things that they might have coming up in the near
Absolutely,
future.
and we do a bunch of those. And to me, it's like, it's good to have that information. It's not always great information, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes we're telling people, yeah, you need a structural engineer to come in there.
Ooh, yeah,
'Cause
bad.
but the problems are there.
Yeah,
You're gonna find out sooner rather or
Sure.
later.
Sure.
that the
sometimes
problems
there's
are there.
things they can do
Sure, yeah.
before it gets even worse.
Yeah, and we've
Yeah.
always done this, and with you back, we've done pre-listing inspections
I was
before
gonna
as
ask you about
well.
that, because I do encourage the seller to
Yeah,
do
and
that.
we've had sellers do that.
We have, because a lot of times, even the most well-maintained home, the seller isn't very handy. He doesn't really know, he doesn't get up in his attic on a regular basis.
They've owned it a really long time,
Exactly.
and they just want to know.
Yes,
Well,
yeah.
it's funny because I hear all so often that I walk into an inspection and the listing agent go, "You'll know this is for informational purposes only." I'm like, from an inspector standpoint, that's all it ever is.
It
We
is,
never
exactly.
tell a buyer what to ask for or not to ask for. We don't even tell homeowners what they have to fix or not fix. For me, it's, we educate you, we give you information so you can use it the best way you want to use it. Now, going back to pre-listing inspections, especially for older houses and people that have lived in the house for many years, it is so hard for someone to keep up with maintenance. I'll tell you for one, there's problems in my house. They're just very well hidden, so you won't buy, you shouldn't buy
We're
it.
telling.
But, no, don't tell anybody. But basically, when we do pre-listing inspections, we try to fill the gap between, we can't tell you what any other inspector's going to say when they come in,
Sure.
because we all read the same book, but it's like the driving book. People
Different
drive differently.
interpretations.
We all pass the
Right.
test, but we all
Exactly.
drive differently.
Exactly.
So it's how you look at it. We pride ourselves on being very detailed, but we also, with pre-listings, try to fill the gap between what is practical and what is technically wrong. So you understand, hey, I really want to fix these things so they don't get worse and become a problem for someone else. Or this is general maintenance stuff. If it gets left for a couple more years, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. But we still note everything in our
Right.
reports with
Of course.
pictures.
Good, that's
Yeah.
great. It's a good reference manual, actually.
Exactly.
It really is, yeah. And I find that most of our sellers are surprised, actually, the things that you find, because they think they have a perfect home, and then they realize that it's not perfect. But
Sure.
most of the time, it's stuff that they can fix easily and have repaired prior to the time. A home inspection might be done by
Right.
a buyer, and therefore, they can hire whomever they please to do the
Right.
repair. Or if they're handy sometimes, they can do the repair, not
Mm-hmm.
electrical or mechanical, I mean,
No.
electrical, plumbing, but, things that are,
Getting a window fix.
window
or,
fix
you
or
know,
something.
Or fixing the grading on the outside,
Exactly.
putting down,
Yeah.
yeah, just stuff
Sure.
that's gonna, our information isn't always, it's not a right or wrong, these are the problems we found, these are the actions that are needed. And sometimes even with new construction, it's like builders aren't putting in battery backups on some pumps. They're not putting downspout extensions on. But if you want to maintain a good home, that's a good idea. So we call that stuff out so you can maintain a good
Sure.
home. So it is a good user manual for your home to stay on top of stuff.
Well, sometimes buyers it's their first home anyway. They've maybe lived in an apartment or coming in, they've never changed the filter on their air conditioning.
I was in that house this week.
You know, Ken, I've been with him on enough inspections, he even draws the arrows as on the outsides to help.
Which direction?
Which direction that
Yeah.
the little arrows on
And
are
I always
supposed to
tell people
go,
that
you know?
arrow is just helpful. You can still put it in the wrong way, because I have seen it where the arrows are pointing at each other, which is not correct. It's funny because someone asked me a while ago, well, is that the worst filter you've seen? I had a filter earlier this year that was 4 years old.
Oh,
It was
how gross.
dated.
It was dated, they
And
put
it
the
was-
date on when they.
It was so clogged that the pressure sensor on the furnace was turning the unit off.
Oh,
I pulled the filter out and the unit ran fine. Put the filter in and the unit would keep cutting off.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
That's,
Deferred
some people don't
maintenance is
even
not
know they
good.
need to do that.
No.
You know, so it's all an education process, you know.
It's great for people buying their first home too, because like you said, they
Yeah.
come out of an apartment or someplace where
Yep.
someone else took care of it.
Yeah,
And it's kind of a roadmap for how to maintain the property.
Absolutely.
It's a very helpful tool to help you understand what you have to do if you've never done it before. So we think it's awesome. Our clients think it's awesome.
yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.